From the Ear to There Travel Studio, this is the Ear to There Disney Podcast.
The Ear to There Podcast, it's time to start the show. Be sure to hold on tight, here we go. Exploring all the different Disney destinations. Ear to There, it's time to start the fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There Disney Podcast. I'm your host, Phil Gravlik. I am also the owner and the founder of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney-specialized travel agency. It is my job, along with the other vacationeers on the Ear to There Travel team, to take away all that stress, all that anxiety, and all that time that it takes to plan a Disney trip so you can focus on the really, really fun things, like having an awesome time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. And we do all that planning. We take away all that stress and all that anxiety at absolutely no extra cost to you. And we also book, well, how can I say this? The other theme park down the street. Don't tell anyone, especially don't tell Mickey. I'd be in trouble. And not only do we book vacations in Central Florida, we also book Disney cruises, Disneyland, Adventures by Disney, and then anything else you can think of. So any cruise line, really any vacation anywhere in the world, we can handle it for you. Again, at no extra cost. So you can find this podcast, my blog, or request a quote from me or any of the other Ear to There vacationeers over at ear2theretravel.com. Okay, this is episode number 156 for the week of February 4th, 2019. Now, grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. And we're going to start off this episode of the show like we start off every other numbered episode of the show. And that is with the What About Bob segment. Now, that's where Disney legend and retired Imagineer Bob Gurr joins me to answer your questions and mine. If you're not sure who Bob is, let me tell you, Bob built and designed such things. I always sound like Troy McClure from The Simpsons when I say that, but Bob designed the Autopia cars, the Walt Disney World Speedway cars, the Doom buggies, the submarines, the darn monorail, people. He built the first ever monorail in the Western Hemisphere of the world. Like, that was Bob. He designed it one day. Not one day. I'm sure it took longer than that. But Walt Disney said, "Hey, Bob, I want a monorail." Bob said, "Done. I got it." Walt said, "Bob, I want you to build the first ever tubular steel roller coaster. Oh, and put it inside this mountain. Oh, and build it around the skyway that we already have built in there." And Bob was like, "Yeah, done. Here's a Matterhorn." So, yeah, Bob is the man. And if you would like your question answered by Bob, just call the voice line. That phone number is 267-551-1971. Or you could always email that question to me at phil@ear2theretravel.com. And like always, the What About Bob segment is brought to you by the Waltland Bus Tour. So each month, Bob takes a busload of people around Southern California. You stop in Glendale, in Burbank, and in Los Angeles, and see a whole bunch of the historical sites in the history of the Disney company. That was a little redundant, but more importantly, in the life and times of its founder, Walt Disney. To get tickets for the Waltland Bus Tour, just head over to www.waltland.com. And without further ado, here he is, the legend, Bob Gurr.
It's What About Bob? Bob Gurr, the legend, creator of the Matterhorn, the monorails and the Haunted Mansion. What about Bob, the Disney legend?
Did you, on the flip side of that, do you have someone who you didn't work well with?
That I didn't work well with?
Yes.
Well, we had one guy who was came from outside. He came from the aerospace industry. Very he's polite, very polite, but very pompous, very officious, and very aerospacey. And he irritated so many people in the Disney company because, we were the Disney guys. We came up from the ground level following Walt, and now we're up into the early mid 70s, and we're starting to get these NASA ex-government types that were they were all procedure type people. Everything was based on a process. Everything was based upon endless meetings. And to some of us, it's, started on the ground of Walt. This was time consuming and not necessary. And sometimes a meeting would be an inquisition rather than, discussion of what we're doing, what we're going to do next. And I cannot remember this guy's name, but boy, he just scraped me the wrong way. In fact, they sent the two of us off to Morgantown, West Virginia, to look at the Morgantown transit system, and I could barely stand that guy flying in the airplane, driving the rental car, and working with him. I just had to grit my teeth really bad. If he was a nasty person, I could use 4-letter words on him, but that man was extremely polite. Not somebody that you would, you want to get in a fight with, but I did get in a fight with him at the last time I saw him. There was a meeting in which the man snapped at me so bad, and it was a great surprise. And I thought, aha, now I can get mad at him.
All right, thanks again to Bob for answering yet another question on the show. I am so glad that Bob wasn't within that 50% of people that Thanos made disappear from Earth a couple of years ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to sit down and watch all 3 Avengers movies before the 4th one comes out. All right, here we go with episode number 156. It's actually hard to believe that I haven't done this topic before. I just haven't covered it. It's weird, but we're going to fix it this week. We're going to rectify that mistake. This week's show is all about our top 10 shows in Walt Disney World. Here to talk all about our top 10 shows in Walt Disney World is my guest, is someone who used to put on shows in the basement of her house with her older sister and record them all on VHS. Of course, I'm talking about my wife, Ames. Ames, thanks for being on the show again.
Thank you for having me. By the way, those shows were amazing.
What? So really quickly, because we don't want to go down the rabbit hole already. What you did, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate. Am I wrong with that? Did you do that one?
I did. That was in school.
Oh, what are the ones I know? We've watched countless hours of you.
Like Really Rosie. We would put on like Wham songs and dance to them. There are really
the
no limits.
timeless songs and stylings of Wham.
No limits to what we would do.
All right. So thanks for coming on the podcast again. And you're not just my last resort guest anymore, which is cool.
I love that initially I was.
You're actually really good at this, and people enjoy hearing you, and I get requests all the time, so you're back.
Thanks. Thank you for requesting. And no, this is really fun. I do enjoy it.
Good. Yeah, me too. These are a lot of fun, and I laugh a lot, and I think that comes across. So I'm glad that you like doing this.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really fun. We do that. I'm mostly because I'm so hilarious, but we do a lot of laughing.
So moving on. So, all right. We were looking at the list, and I'm surprised I haven't done this episode yet.
Actually, I don't know who thought of this. Oh, wait, it was me.
See, this is why I have her on the show. She's very smart and witty. Yeah, you did think of it. Obviously, this was your call. We were kind of stumped for a topic idea, and you were like, hey, how about this? I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I didn't do that before.
I don't either. It's a great topic.
I think I've done like little known shows, but I've never done just straight out best shows in Walt Disney World. So,
and there are so many.
Yeah, we both looked at the entertainment list, and it's like 3 pages long.
It's really long.
So let's get started. Let's talk about our top shows in Walt Disney World. Of course, you can't start any top 10 list off without Stitch's Supersonic Celebration. Do you even know what that is?
No.
It was like one of the shortest lived shows. I think it might be the shortest lived show
I've never heard of it.
ever. It was in Magic Kingdom. Oh, shoot. Off the top of my head, it was after 2010. Maybe 2009, 10, something like that. And it was like, it lasted like a month.
Did it?
It was a stage show with Stitch and like these weird alien actor guys who were like in face paint makeup but made them look like they were aliens. It was a really weird show. They did
That
songs.
sounds so
and,
weird.
You know the Tomorrowland stage what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
of course.
So it was there. They've done like the Incredibles dance party there and other stuff. So yeah, that was
Things that were more.
that won't be on the
long-lasting.
list. That was a terrible show.
No, I've never heard of that.
So we're not going to talk about that. All right, you should start with your.
You want me to kick it off?
Yeah, either you're going to have to either bring it. I said Ever.
Ever. I did hear Ever.
Hey, well, I'm from London. I say Eva. That's a terrible British accent.
It's not good.
It's like my
You
Cockney
did not pull that off.
accent. And I know I have British listeners who just listen and are like, their ears are like bleeding right now after hearing that.
I agree.
Terrible. That was like me being Dick Van Dyke, but terrible. Anyway, so yeah, started off with your strongest or your weakest, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm not going
You
to
look at me like kind of. I know now you're like.
I'm
It's
not
a lot
going
of
to do
pressure.
either of those things because I never do what you tell me to.
Oh, good.
So I'm just going to do the one that popped into my head as soon as we decided this was going to be
That's probably the best.
the topic, which immediately, and I know this is, no one's going to be like, oh, this is exactly what popped into my head. But for me, it was Disney Junior Dance Party.
Yeah, that didn't pop into my head.
No, no, but I'll tell you what, it's awesome. So I loved the Disney Junior Live on Stage show. I mean, I know you guys probably know because I've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, we've brought that up once or twice.
I really, really love it. But
You know what it is? It's seeing that show through your kids' eyes. Is really why it's great.
oh, that's totally right. That's totally right.
I mean,
And
just
we've
watching-
seen it. I personally
A
have seen
dozen
it.
times.
At
More
least
than
57
that.
times.
Yeah, more than a
I
dozen.
mean, I've seen it so many times, but I always
Because our kids,
love it.
again, our kids have been going since they were infants. So it's
and that
it's-
was just the perfect show for them.
yeah, and up until I don't know 4, it's 5 even.
They
It's
were definitely 5.
4 or 5. Yeah, I mean they still watch Disney Junior. It makes
Right.
sense, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But so when they were changing it, well, actually, I can't say that because when we first did Disney Junior Dance Party, we were in Disneyland.
Right.
So I wasn't like, oh no, this is replacing my beloved Disney Junior Live on Stage. I don't know why I would use that voice.
I don't know either.
I
thought you were sick
I just
for a
thought
minute.
it was like I just thought it was going to be an entertaining experience. So I went into it like with a fresh, view, and it's awesome. It's so much fun. So basically, you go in, right, and I think that
I'm sorry. I just interrupted. You talk with your hands on the podcast. Totally.
I do. I know. I'm sorry.
You were just completely talking with your hands.
I was.
And no one can see you.
What's funny is I get like 2,000 steps a day on my Fitbit, but they're only hands. Like
It's all hand movement.
I know that if I hit 10,000, I really only got like 8,000.
You remind me of like Lorraine Bracco from Goodfellas.
I
She
know,
was
I
like-
should have been Italian, right?
Yeah.
I was like the Italian. Either way. So, no, it's really cool, you guys. So, what's great about the Disney Junior Dance Party that differs from Disney Junior Live on Stage is they tell the kids to dance.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that recently too.
We did talk about it.
Where they say like the other one, it was
A lot of times they would have them sit down. They would say like, "No, you
it was
can't get
too
up."
busy.
Yeah, it was too much. This is like, no, you guys, come on in, bring your favorite dance moves, and all of the Disney Junior characters are involved. I know Vampirina is in it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like Lion Guard,
But
Vampirina.
there's like, of course, these great cast members who are like singing and like leading the show, and then all the characters are there and they're leading to, and then I think there's a screen, right, and you get to see like little clips
lots
of
of
the
screens,
show.
and there's like the DJ and this.
like fun music. The kids are dancing. It's exactly what it says it is, and it just really brings the fun. And
Brings the fun.
It does.
It does sound
but
fun.
I think, that it's so needed, and I say this all the time. There's not very much Disney Junior represented in the parks.
No, really, not
Which
at
is
all.
so strange. It's always so strange to me because every single parent I know who has a child, like who's, as you said, 5 and under, that's all their kid wants is Disney Junior. So you guys make sure you hit it. It's so much fun. It's just like nonstop dancing, action, characters, and music.
Yeah, it's a fun show, and I'm a little. It's a little like I missed the old one. I like the Disney Junior Live on Stage. I like the puppets.
You like the story of it?
And I memorized it, kind of.
I'm sure you did.
Like, after seeing it so many times. And the last few times, I've taken Alexis on something else.
Yeah,
while
she
you've
was too
taken
old.
the twins. We've taken Jack and Zoe to the dance party. Or I've taken Alexa and Zoe, and just Jack has gone to the dance party because they've done like Tower of Terror.
Right.
Because he's afraid to do it, which is fine. I'm not sad about that at all. He'll do it eventually if I have to force him to get on. No, I'm kidding. I'm a little sad to do that one.
Buckle him in yourself.
What's that?
If you were to buckle him in yourself.
No, I would never force him to go on a ride, but I really do want him to. I try to talk him into it, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, no, I do like that show. It's a fun show. It's different, and if your kids are under 5, yeah, absolutely do it.
Don't miss it.
All right, so my first one on the list is. You want to keep it down over there?
Sorry.
It's like we're not recording the podcast.
My phone has a mind of its own, man.
Just put it on silent.
I did. I called Siri or whatever.
I don't think you called Siri. She's not just sitting at home waiting
up,
for your
lady?
call. Hello. All right. So my first one is an opening day attraction from Magic Kingdom, obviously. Country Bear Jamboree.
Amazing.
Listen, I've talked about it 100 times in this show, and I'll talk about it 100 more. It's a show that really, from the age of like 20 to the age of like 32, I never watched. I never went to see it. I was like, I'd seen it. I don't need to see it again. Ever since our kids have been born, we go multiple times a trip.
Oh, it's amazing.
And they love it.
It's never stops being
It's
funny.
timeless. It's completely
totally
timeless. And it's also...
Blood on the saddle. You
gotta keep going.
Right?
Blood on the ground.
This is the
So,
best part.
Yeah,
He steals the
and you
show.
still get to laugh every time.
Single time.
Because people, you know what it is? The majority of people aren't like us, right? They go to Walt Disney World every couple of years,
Right.
every few years, every several years.
You don't remember. You don't have it memorized the way we
And
do.
yeah, where it's your first time, and you it's shocking to be
It's totally
like,
shocking.
because it's not a PC show,
No.
but somehow it's been like kind of given grandfathered in status
It's totally great.
by Disney, and it's great. Like, Mama, don't whoop little Buford.
Oh, yes.
Mama, don't whoop little
That's
Buford.
right.
I think you should shoot him instead.
Oh, right.
Like, that's crazy.
This does not fly now.
You can never get that in the park now.
No.
But since it's been there since 1971, you get it. Like,
and I totally agree with you by saying, like, it's so underrated. People are like, oh,
Yeah.
God, it's boring. It's not boring.
guess what? I'm going to tell you why Country Bear Jamboree is great.
Tell me.
It's 1,000 degrees outside.
It's true.
There's never wait.
Never.
If there's a wait, you wait in the pre-show. It's not really a pre-show, but in the room, the staging area, completely air conditioned.
Right. And I don't know if this always happens, but one of my favorite experiences was the last time that we went to see it. There was this awesome cast member, and he had Disney trivia questions.
Yeah, I stumped them on a couple too.
This isn't about you, Phil. But
And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There Disney Podcast. No, it isn't about me. Fine.
what I'm saying is, it was so fun, you guys, because first of all, you're already excited, right? You're already inside, so you're just happy to be sitting there. But then to have somebody come over and be like, "No, I'm also going to entertain you," and he gave presents.
Yeah, he was giving out
Prizes, I should
stickers
say.
for. He wasn't Santa Claus.
No, he gave us a couple fast passes.
Oh, right, that's right, he did.
Yeah, Lex got a really good
Because she
question.
got tough. Yeah, Alexa got a really tough question. Right. And he was giving out fast passes. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it was a hot day, I remember
It was
then.
so hot. Oh,
And
my
listen,
goodness.
all that aside, all the cool little bonuses, and that's what makes Walt Disney World and Disneyland and
That's why you go.
the Disney Cruise Line so much better. Sorry, than any other vacation you take.
Totally agree.
And listen, is it better than taking, than doing a week on a train in Europe? Maybe not for you, but for us, it is.
Fair enough.
For us, it's our family. It's perfect. And that's why
really
you're
true.
listening to the show. Let's be for real. It's because you think it's the best too. But besides all that, all the extras and the hoopla and all that stuff, the show itself it's classic. It's been there for, 45 years, 48 years now. It's crazy to think of how old the parks are. It's I remember thinking when Disneyland hit its 50th, I was like, wow, that's really old. Now,
Yeah.
well, Disney World's about to hit its 50th. How sad is this? We worked in the parks first when it was 25 years then.
All right. 20.
25 years of Disney magic.
That was the best.
32,000.
Yeah, that does make you feel old.
Yeah, it was in the Remember the
back
Magic
to
Parade.
Country Magic
Remember
Parade.
the magic. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time to remember the magic. Anyway, sorry. Country Magic Jamboree, you got to see it. It's a great show.
It's so funny.
And it's the only place where you can see it now, right? It's a show that was written in the early or really written for Mineral Springs, the Disney resort that never happened, a ski resort, run by Walt Disney. He was helping develop it with Mark Davis and some others in the 60s before he passed away. And it's one of the last attractions he worked on. And it's in the park still. And it was for Disneyland, and it opened in Walt Disney World as well. And it's been gone from Disneyland for a number of years. So it's the only place you can see it now.
Right.
And it has a huge connection to Walt. So I think you should go see it. I love it. I won't go to Magic Kingdom without seeing it.
No, definitely see it. I was going to say it's not that long. It's a little long. It's like,
I don't know. It's like 8 or 9 minutes. It's not very
is it
long.
really?
Yeah, no, it's not that long.
is it like 20 minutes?
No, it's definitely not 20 minutes.
So
No.
it's not long. As you said, you're in the air conditioning. So even if you don't love the hilarity and hijinks, which you should, you're still in the air conditioning. But give it a try. I mean, I see so many. Feel like that's one of the places that I see so many just adults, not even with kids, right?
You do. You really see a lot of adults.
It's really funny.
Whether it's
really
people
good humor for
who
adults.
went there as a kid in the
Right,
70s or
remember it.
80s, or people who are in their 70s or 80s now who want to get an air conditioner.
Right.
Look at that. See, that's like a little...
Really well done. Well done.
Yeah, I don't give these shows to chimps, so... no, so it's a great show, and I think you should... If you've been skipping it on your trips, or if other people are telling you, hey, skip it, it's not a must-do, they're wrong. It'll take 20 minutes of your life.
Right, and you're
including
right.
the
There's
waiting in
never
line.
a wait.
No, 20 minutes of your life and it's done. And you sat in the air conditioner, you enjoyed air conditioning, you enjoyed the show.
You don't sit inside
And
there.
no, that would be freezing.
Really uncomfortable.
But no, you get these earworm songs that are stuck in your head
it's
forever.
so true. Oh yeah.
Like Mama Don't Love Little Buford and like Blood on the Saddle and all different. It's just a great show. All right, so
That was a great pick.
yeah, I know it was. All right, you're up.
Okay, so I am going to... Oh, you know what? I'm going to go with... There's so many different reasons to love the shows that we love, right? Like, there's a million different... there's the memories, as you said, it's sentimental. You love the songs, whatever it is. This one that I'm going with is simply because if you say the word show and you say... Sorry. What is the best show? This, in my opinion, is the best actual show, maybe in all of Walt Disney World, and it's Festival of the Light.
That's a great show.
In terms of like,
And again, we've talked about this one a couple of times.
I know, I'm
before.
sorry, it's just really
No,
worth
it's just
talking
if we have her at home, maybe people, the average listener is like, maybe I should see that show.
just
this time.
to see what
That
we're
Amy girl that I
about.
listened to on the podcast, she really likes that show.
I do. I think that you should go see it and then go right over to go to Toy Story Mania. But anyway, and eat a flatbread. Cheeseburger flatbread pizza. So anyway, Festival of the Lion King is just, it's amazing. I don't know how they do. I mean, so basically you go in, you sit down, and there's just like, so they're all the, Lion King characters, but then there's just so many stunts, right? And there's this particular part I'm thinking of is the Tumble Monkey.
The best part of the show.
And
Yep.
so it's these people who are, dressed as monkeys, basically. They have these amazing, gorgeous, like, face makeup and all. And what is that? Are they, like, huge trampolines?
Yeah, they're on trampolines, yeah.
They're on trampolines, you guys.
They're acrobats.
They're acrobats. But it's not like, oh, I can do acrobatics. No. It's like...
Wait, could you?
I'm not saying myself. But it's almost like Cirque du Soleil, where you're like, how did they
It's
do
very much like
How
that.
did
They do
that?
they do some crazy stuff in
They
that
jump
show.
on each other. They're like...
The most impressive is when like the 5 guys
Yes.
are attached
That's
and
exactly
the
what I
one
was
guy
thinking of.
runs and climbs up them like
he
they're a
runs
rope.
and climbs up them like a monkey.
Yeah, like they're a rope, but they're people.
I know,
it's
it's a
amazing.
person.
It's a great show.
It is unbelievable and absolutely
The live
never
performers
disappoints.
are just unbelievable in that show.
They are incredible.
From
And
the
what's so-
singers to the acrobats to the people on the trapeze that are swinging around the whole the room. Everybody is fantastic.
You're absolutely right. Everyone is
It's
great.
just it's the rare show that has great live music, amazing stunts and acrobatics. Just this display of all these different things kind of pulled together into one show. It's great.
Absolutely.
It really is.
And I think also, don't forget, they really have some really fun audience involvement. They really do a good job of getting you into it.
Yeah, do you know what sound a giraffe makes? Because if you watch that show, you will know.
You will learn. No, it's really, really fun. And I do think that a lot of people do that. I don't know that that's that underrated. I think it's really gotten out how good it is. But make sure you guys.
Yeah, they actually, I'm sorry to cut you off, Ames. They actually just started a dinner package where you see the Festival of Lion King show and then you have dinner included. You have like VIP tickets.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, it is very popular because people want experiences like that.
It's unbelievable. Nothing, unless you go to Cirque du Soleil, nothing compares to it.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, and there's not a new Cirque show yet in Disney Springs. That's coming. I forget. I think it's going to come in 2020 when that opens. It might be later this year, but I think it's 2020.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I agree. Great show. There's not
great
one
music, great, as you said, great live singing, like everything.
Yeah, a
performances
bad
are
thing
amazing.
can't be said about that show. It's so
I
good.
agree completely.
All right, next one for me. This is actually funny because I've never talked about the show before, ever. Not even once.
Okay.
And it's at the River Roost Lounge, and it's your friend of mine, Yeehaw Bob Jackson's live show.
You couldn't possibly have this podcast and not include him.
Listen, when we say show, that's just totally what this is.
That's exactly right.
He sits for 3+ hours at a piano.
Which, by the way, is amazing.
Yeah, he's not a young man.
No, he is not.
Bob's now, I bet he's, what, his 60s?
He's definitely in his 60s.
And he sits and he plays piano and he sings and he talk about acrobatics.
That's true.
He's up out on top of his bench and pounding his chest and doing the Tarzan thing.
No, he brings down the house every single time.
Every night, 4 nights a week for the last 20 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah, his show. If you haven't been there, it's the River Roost Lounge. Is just a lounge inside Port Orleans Riverside, right adjacent to the lobby. It's a good sized lounge, right? It's got a full big bar.
It is.
You can order appetizers. You can order drinks. You can also bring in.
The appetizers are great.
For a while they got the food. The food went away, and then they brought it back a couple years ago. Yep. You can also go next door to the Mill food court there, get food and bring it in.
How cool is that?
So you don't have to pay the table service appetizer prices.
Or if you have picky kids.
Yeah,
or if just picky adult eaters.
Right. Or if your kid wants to bring a chocolate milk in from the food court,
right,
and a bag of Cheetos, you can do that. It doesn't matter. We like to go Cheetos. Yes.
I was just because that's exactly one of our children. That's exactly what they eat. That combination of food.
I was thinking about her. I definitely had her on the brain. I think we've done that before. So what we like to do is we like to get there right before he starts the show, stake out a table, get a table, order a round of drinks. Usually we'll probably end up with an appetizer, maybe wings, and just sit for the entire show and enjoy the entire show. We've never gone where I don't think where we've left early unless our kids were up or were falling asleep or crying.
Yeah, the one time Jack actually
Jack was falling asleep at the table.
Middle of
I felt
the
horrible.
show.
I put that on Facebook. That's a funny video. But anyway, you go into the River Roost Lounge. It's a completely family friendly show. Piano. He has like a French horn that he plays. Like it's just a great show, and you'll just laugh so hard. He'll embarrass you. He'll embarrass people in your family, but it's very good natured. It's just a really, really fun show. I know I've talked about him a million times, and I'll talk about a million more. It's phenomenal.
No, it's true. I dare you to go there and not enjoy yourself.
No, you can't. It's impossible.
Seriously.
So we've been there. I mean, I've been going for 20 years, and
I mean, he knows us when we come.
Oh yeah, he knows us. The servers know us.
Yes,
like over the years,
true.
They've changed, but not that much. Like a lot of the guys have been there for as long as Bob has. A couple of them have. So anyway, all right. And the show's free. You can't beat it.
Right. No,
you don't need a park ticket. You don't need to buy food or drinks.
No, you don't.
You can just sit at a table and enjoy yourself. So it's a great show. All right, Ames, you're up.
That's a great pick. I'm so glad you did that one. Okay, so
I interviewed Bob on the show. I think it was like episode 8, 9, 10, something like that. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, he's a really fun guy.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Yeah, that's the joke. Remember the joke? Mushroom walks into a bar.
Yeah, fun guy.
The bartender says, "We don't serve food here." The mushroom says, "Why not? I'm a real fun guy."
Hilarious. No, he is great and so incredibly talented. Okay, so my next one, I'm going to go with, in my mind, a classic. And And, this is another one that we've seen so many times, but never gets old. It does never change, but it never gets old. And it's Voyage of the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it's a
Right?
great show.
That's just really well done.
It was on my list a few weeks ago as the show that needs to be replaced in Hollywood studios. Yeah.
Bill,
I have to, listen, I have to be honest. I enjoy the show.
you're
I do.
crazy.
It's not in my top 10.
You're crazy.
All right, that's fine.
It's really fun. Have you seen it?
No, I really like the show. Yes, I've seen it, and I've also seen the laser effects from 1989 that are in the show.
That's what I love about it.
I'm just saying that we've come a long way in show development since the show came out.
Whatever. It's amazing. Don't listen to him, you guys.
No, I like the show. I do. I've always enjoyed the show, but it's time. But go ahead.
Super fun. Ariel sings.
Go ahead.
it.
Talk about it as I disagree.
Talk about it as I think that it's so terrible that it needs to be replaced. No, Ariel sings live, which is super cool. And
That is cool.
Yeah, and I know you're making fun of the effects, but I think they're really cool.
It's not that I'm making fun of the effects.
little bit
It's
you
that they're
are, yeah.
outdated. They are.
All right, I still enjoy them.
That's fine. I do too. I'm just saying. I love when they put the smoke in the room
That's the best.
and you look up and the lasers make it look like you're under the sea. I think that's great.
It's really cool. And then when Ursula's laughing and her face is all around you,
Yeah, I agree.
That's creepy. That's
I agree.
really well done.
We've had kids in our family, our children, that have had to leave.
We've actually left. That's true.
We've had to leave
At
that show.
particular spot.
Yep.
She
Yeah.
goes, ha ha ha, and her laughter fills the whole room.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
really
it does
cool.
fill the whole room. That's true.
Anyway, so don't listen to him. Go see the show. It's fantastic. You will not be sad. And if they update it, whatevs. I'm sure I will like that one as well.
Whatevs.
Whatevs indeed.
I was going to say the same thing. Whatevs indeed. So, one thing I think is great about the show, and it's something that's kind of lacking a bit.
You are going to say something nice about it?
Stop it. I think it's lacking a bit with the removal of the Disney Junior show. Is not the dance party, the older show. Is
stage.
the puppetry? Is that the right word? Puppetry?
Yeah. Mhm.
Puppeteering?
I think either could be used.
Okay, so one of those things. The use of puppets.
That's good.
The fact that
Just to be
people
safe.
in the under the sea scene of the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, the puppet play, it's amazing. The people using the puppets.
It is incredible.
It's
You're right.
I forever I didn't know how that was done. I figured it out when I was on the college program. We figured out how
I never even questioned it.
that's done. It's such a great. It's such a real.
I just get lost in the magic. Of
Yeah, you
everything.
actually think that Sebastian's on the stage.
Yeah, I
and
just never even
floating or
bothered
swimming on
trying
the stage. Yeah,
to figure it out.
but it's if you look closely enough, you can see how they do it. But again, I think that is something that I would like to see a little more of.
Right, I see what you're saying.
That old school kind of effect. So I appreciate the show.
I'm glad
I do.
you do.
But it still definitely needs to be replaced. All right, so my next one. You can disagree with any of mine if you feel like you need to disagree. That's fine.
I have no problem.
All right. My next one is also at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and it is in the huge theater on Sunset Boulevard, the theater which his name I cannot remember at this moment, and it is Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Are you gonna disagree with me?
No, because I was going to pick that if I didn't pick Little Mermaid, but I know you well enough to know you were going for Beauty.
No,
and the
you know I love Beauty and the Beast.
Beast. So I
by
wasn't
far.
even going to try.
Another show. It's an excellent show. It started off in a different part of the park, and then it ended up like years and years and years ago, and they ended up moving it to the Theater of the Stars. That's the name of the.
Oh, that's it.
Of it.
I
And-
didn't know the name of it either.
There's been rumors for years and years and years that it's going to be replaced by a Tangled show.
Oh, cool.
I have to admit, I wouldn't be too upset if they replaced this one either. It's again, it's been there forever, but it's
Yeah.
it's still a great show.
It's really, really unbelievably well done.
Yeah, Belle and Gaston both sing live,
Right.
which is awesome because it's a
That's
different
incredible.
experience every time.
Right.
You know,
And good for them.
yeah, it's really really cool. It's kind of the show that inspired the Broadway show of Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
So it's a lot of the Broadway show is obviously a lot more advanced, and the songs are bigger, and the stages and the production is a lot better. But it is, what I would say they almost started like the Disney Broadway revolution. Like all these shows that we see now on Broadway from Disney,
I
Beauty
couldn't
and the
agree with you
Beast
more.
was
I
one of
think
the
Beauty
first
and the Beast
ones.
and Lion King both.
Yeah, but Beauty and the Beast obviously came before the Lion King.
Yeah, that's true.
It did, and Lion
Yeah,
King is huge.
that's a really good point.
I don't know how many did Beauty and the Beast win a ton of Tonys and
Lion
stuff
King
back
is
in the
still
day.
huge. I don't remember, Phil.
I
I
know.
really don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I know Lion King did.
Yeah, Lion King was like the toughest ticket in New York to get for
Yeah,
a
that was
while.
crazy.
But I just still love Beauty and the Beast live on stage. I love, you know what it is? I love that part of the park. I really do. I love Sunset.
I do too.
With Tower Terror
Yeah,
at the end.
we covered almost all of it, right?
Yeah,
Right?
and I just love that.
I do love that part.
And you always get the citizens of Hollywood out on Hollywood
that's
Boulevard
the
and
best.
Sunset Boulevard, and I just think the show has original, the original music from the movie. That like I said before, Bella and Gaston both sing the parts and do the speaking parts as well. Obviously,
Right.
it's just a good show, man. Now the only issue is it's not air conditioned, but it's actually never really bad.
We've gone even in hot weather.
In a dead summer, and it's never that bad. It's not like that theater in the wild used to be
the worst.
over where for the Finding Nemo the musical is now, but they enclosed it.
Oh,
When that was the Tarzan rock show,
Oh,
oh my
goodness. And that was a good show, but we could never see it.
That was like sitting and watching a show in an air fryer.
Because I love Tarzan. I would totally.
You do love Tarzan. It was like watching a show in an air fryer. Like it
No,
was
it's
a
bad.
billion degrees.
It's an air fryer.
I knew you didn't hear me because that was a funny joke.
I didn't. It's really funny.
I had to say it again.
I was thinking about how hot I was.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it's so gross. All right.
Well,
So,
wait,
sorry.
sorry.
You have something about Beauty and the Beast. Sorry.
Well, no, just in general, because you were saying like you love that part of the park. I think in general, because we both chose, well, I actually chose two, but you chose one of the shows in studios. I think that this is a fair point because I feel like, I know I'm not you, but I do get a lot of Disney questions. And one of the most common ones I get is, why would I bother going to Hollywood Studios?
That question drives me up a wall.
Why would I bother going? And why would I drag my kids? First of all, you're not dragging them anywhere because it's Disney. So you're welcome for bringing you to Disney.
That's a good point.
But also, that's why. The things that we
those
said
shows,
alone
Yeah.
are reason enough to go. No less Tower of Terror, obviously Rock and Roller Coaster. But I mean,
Toy Story Land.
and then another one actually on my list coming up. That's why you go. These shows are worth it.
They're to call them good shows or entertaining shows is really underselling
I
them. I think
completely agree with you.
they're great shows. Even
They are.
and I just joked with you for a while about Voyage of the Little Mermaid. That's a show that if that came to your town
Right.
and was a little bit longer, you'd pay good money to see.
You absolutely
It still
would.
is. Like it's still a very good show.
Absolutely.
If you hit that button again,
This is the third time.
we're gonna have a major problem.
I had to work my phone.
Got one of those iPhone 10s. You don't know what the heck you're doing with it.
Anyway, so no, but it's really true. Like, and you know what else?
And I don't want to oversell it. Like I think that's fair. If
It is fair.
if that show was in your local theater, you would go see it. You
Absolutely.
would. Like Beauty and the Beast live on stage. You paid money to see that show if that came.
Oh, I absolutely.
If that
would.
toured
Definitely.
through. Absolutely, yeah.
But I think also a very common question also that we get, or that I get, is what do I do when it
But the
rains?
answer is 1,600 on my SATs.
What do I do when it rains? What do I do when it's really cold out? All this stuff. Go to studios and go and
That's
go
a good.
show
It's a
hopping.
really good one.
Right. Go show hopping.
There's almost nothing you can't do in the rain in studios.
That's a really good point.
I mean, Slinky Dog now.
Okay,
I'm
that
sure
goes down in the rain.
will go down in the rain.
Yeah.
Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Those rides will be open because they're all inside. What else goes down in the
Or
rain?
what do I do in the extreme heat? Once again,
Or the extreme
go to
cold
the
when it's
show.
very cold.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Go to the
listen.
shows.
They had a cold snap in Florida recently that was
It was
in the 40s every day, 30s,
I heard
40s.
It was
Yeah,
in the 30s.
yeah. I mean, that happens.
Absolutely.
People think Florida it's always 85 degrees. It's not.
No, it isn't.
So that one, that was mine. Right? We were still talking about Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
All right, so you're up.
All right, so I'm actually going to stay. This is the last one in this park, but I'm going to stay with studios, and of course, that's correct. He is referencing, just in case you guys don't know, which I'm positive you do.
Here I stand. Here I
It got worse. It got worse. First time in forever.
With a
Frozen
cold,
sing-along.
I'm a much worse singer with a cold.
I think you're better.
I'm
You
excellent
proved it.
without the cold, but with the cold, I'm bad.
Oh my goodness. So it's First Time in Forever, Frozen Sing Along, I believe is the correct title. And oh my gosh, you guys, that's awesome. I know so many Frozen haters, whatever. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me.
You know what they say about haters? Haters going to hate. I don't know what
Hate
that
it, but I
means.
don't hate the game. I don't know what that
Hey,
means.
I don't think
either.
that's right. That's not what we're talking about. That's like a relation.
To play it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's I hate to play and I hate the game at all. That's wrong.
that doesn't sound right. Either way, what I'm saying is do go see First Time in Forever. It's so fun, you guys. So, okay. First of all, once again, you're sitting in a really nice air-conditioned theater in extremely comfortable seats. So that's a win already.
Oh, no, this is Theater of the Stars.
That's a big sell. Oh, I think you're right.
Wasn't it? No, this is the Superstar Television Theater.
Oh, so no.
Theater of the Stars. We were right. It's Beauty and the Beast. Go ahead.
So it's like this beautiful theater. You have a really comfy seat. And so first of all, to me, the biggest sell is you get to sing out loud. And you can sing as loud as you want. Nobody cares. That's super fun.
You know what, though? Once in a while, you get a grumpy person around you.
I know, but I don't care.
Who gives you looks, which is ridiculous.
Guess what? I look right back at them. I don't care. You think I care?
Don't be scared.
I'm not. I'm like, I just sing a little louder, actually, when they look at me.
Yeah, right? Like, when people look at our
They
kids,
tell
I'm like,
you.
yo,
Oh, they do all the time.
turn around, woman.
So this is what's great is in the beginning
Excuse
of
me,
the show.
Sarah. Turn around and mind your business.
In the beginning of the show, they say, please sing along as loud as you want.
Yes, they do.
They absolutely say that. So that's great. But the best part of the show for me, the absolute best, is what are they called? Arendelle historians, right?
Yeah, yeah. The Royal
You
Historians
guys,
of
there are
Arendelle, yeah.
two. There's always a woman and a man. I've only ever
Yes,
seen
yeah.
Always a woman and a man, and they are hysterical. And they tell the story of Frozen. And then, of course, they pause for song breaks. They are the funniest.
Yeah, and they change it to show all the time for pop culture references.
I think we have seen it at least 10 to 15 times, and it's never been the same show.
Yeah, we've been there. Like, they've made like Super Bowl jokes when it's close to the Super Bowl.
They
They've
do it.
made
They absolutely
Justin Bieber jokes. They made jokes about Frozen itself. They're always on point.
And the best thing, and we've seen this in action, is they totally ad lib.
Yeah,
And you can tell.
You can tell when they'll break the other person a little bit because they'll say something that the other person doesn't expect.
Absolutely.
And
The
they
one
get 'em
time the
good.
guy's shirt started to come untucked, and she was making all kinds of jokes, and it was great. You could tell, like, she just thought of that in the moment
Yeah, the jokes were coming to her pretty fast.
And to me, people, who could do something like that, that's so much talent.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But so it's super funny, fun. As I said, sing as loud as you want. Don't let the grumpy people stop you. Just keep singing louder. Smile at them. And it's just fun. And then, oh my gosh, at the end it snows. Like, I cry every time because it's just so awesome and exciting. And it's just a great show. I know people don't like Frozen. But
Which
even
is
if
still
you-
crazy to me. I'm sorry.
I know. But even if you don't, I still think you
I
could
think
enjoy
most
the
people
show.
I agree, and most people who don't like Frozen
You
just
think
want
they're
to
doing it for attention.
No, it's not attention. It's just they want to dislike a popular thing. That's it's a weird thing in
It is a
society.
thing. People are like that. That's true.
We're like, I don't know. It's weird. Like something new and popular, people are like, oh no, the other stuff is better. Well, give it a chance. Maybe you'll like it.
Take a chance.
Yeah.
No, but I think this is such a great show. And I really don't think you should miss it.
I agree. It's a great show. We've seen it every time we're in the studios.
Oh,
now.
we never miss it. And it's not a long wait. You can get a fast pass. You don't need
No, you don't need that. You don't need a fast pass really.
for any of the ones we mentioned.
Not really. I mean,
You
looking
really
at them, they don't even have fast passes for Country Bear.
No.
Yeehaw Bob is at the Rivers Lounge, it's not in a park. Beauty and the Beast live on stage, I would not get a fast pass for. No, you don't really need
Same with the Little Mermaid.
Voyage of the Little Mermaid. No, you don't need Little Mermaids. I was going to say
You
you
don't
don't
need
need Little
Little
Mermaids for any of those. You don't need fast passes.
Or
I don't know.
Little Mermaid.
You know how that happens to get through your
Yes,
head because
of
it's the
course.
last thing you hear and you just
Of
say it again.
course.
Why does our brain do that? It's the
I don't
weirdest
know.
thing.
It is weird.
All right, so my next one. You know what's funny is I have 6 on my list, and the one I forgot to write down might be the best one. So I didn't even put it on my list.
Well, put it on now.
It is. It's not in a park. It's a dinner show, and it's the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review. It's not on my list.
I gave that to you.
It's not on my list. I didn't
had
write
it
it down.
on my list and then I gave it to you.
I gave that guy to you.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, man.
Pretty woman.
That's from Terminator.
That's well done.
So yeah, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger says that to Linda Hamilton in Terminator. So no, Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review. Been there since the 70s. I think it's the longest running stage show in the history of the country, which is amazing.
Is it really?
Yeah, pretty sure.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it definitely is. It is. So I didn't make that up. It is.
Man, is that a
It got
good show.
surpassed. It surpassed the Golden Horseshoe in Disneyland. That had the
Right.
record, and then they shut that down a number of years ago. They still do shows there, but it's not the
Which is
Golden
fun.
Horseshoe Review.
Right.
But now this is the longest running, continuing show. Listen, you can't beat it for a dinner show. I don't think.
Absolutely not.
There's nowhere else. I've never been into a dinner show anywhere that's as good as this.
No, me neither.
Like the jokes and the storyline and the idea is they're all from the 70s. They all stand up today better. Like
they really do. Better
than shows that Disney's put in the last 40 years.
And that's some great audience involvement as well.
And that show, again, that's different every show, every night is different.
You're right.
They have a script that they work from. They have the same songs, but because of the audience participation, it's different.
It changes it.
You never see the same show twice. The food, let's talk about the food there, is amazing.
That's what I was going to say. Listen, the show is fantastic. It's
fine, you're going to talk about the food? Okay. You go ahead. You take it away.
Saying, if you tell me that you're going to Hoop to Do and at least 50% of you is not going for the fried chicken, you're lying.
No, the ribs too, though. Both.
Oh, and the ribs.
You're a big rib person. I thought you would like the ribs more than the
Have you ever had that fried chicken?
They're both amazing.
Oh, my gosh.
Now I really want those tonight. We are right now in Pennsylvania, and I'm like... Look at my watch. Like, can we get down there?
It's so good.
For the weekends, it's so good.
Oh my gosh!
When you're the best part of it is you're paying attention to the show.
You're totally
to what's going on the stage. You're not even looking for your server. You order your food or you order your drinks, and they bring you out the food. You don't order individual entrees. They have bucket of fried chicken, bucket of ribs. What else? What is the other food?
It's corn, right?
Yeah, corn. Cornbread.
Oh, rolls.
The rolls. Oh, yeah, the rolls with the butter.
Right.
The whipped butter, which is awesome, by the way.
So delicious.
And the baked beans.
Right.
Right. And then
I know it's strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake for dessert. It has its own song. It's so good.
It does.
And you're watching the show, not even paying attention, and all of a sudden...
Oh, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, I hope I didn't scare you in your car, by the way. Sorry about that.
He scared me, and I'm sitting next to him. I jumped so hard.
They slam the bucket of food on your table when you're not looking. And I've been scared by that probably 20 times in my life.
That's why they do it, right?
Yeah, to startle you when you're not watching. It's like, boom, and then all of a sudden the food's there. It's so much fun. The show's fun. There's 3 different tiers of seating. You have the up front. The tier 1 is like the up front, the more expensive floor seats. Then the tier 2 is the back, towards the back, away from the stage. And then you have tier 3, which is the second floor all around.
But you can still see it no matter which.
You can see it from anywhere. Yeah, it's just so more expensive because... The closer you are to the stage, the more expensive the tickets, obviously, because you'll probably have a bigger chance to be in the show.
Right.
They put people up on stage. For some reason, there's always a woman from the show who makes fun of my bald head.
Is that true?
Yeah. They come with the like a napkin, and they shine up my head
every time.
Every time I'm there.
That's so funny.
Like it's the one lady's like job to like shine, and it's not just me. It's everybody who has a shaved or a bald head.
Are you sure?
I swear, maybe it's me. I do have a strong kind of magnetism.
Animal magnetism.
Yeah, I don't know. Animal magnetism sounded weird. Anyway, it's a great show. It's a great meal. It's a really fun time. Super easy to get to. By the way, I've had a lot of clients who are like, it's really hard to get to, isn't it? No. Go to the Magic Kingdom, take the boat. It takes one extra step is the boat.
That's true.
Just take the bus or take the monorail to the Magic Kingdom.
And are there still 2 different versions, like the earlier show and then the later show?
So that's never really been a thing, but it's for cast members. The later show, the latest show, the latest show of the night is.
Oh, right. There's a late one, right?
Yeah, it's like an 8 or 9 o'clock show, whatever it is. That's always traditionally been it's always family friendly, but it's the one where they'll take the most liberties.
Right.
And they'll deviate from the script the most.
But either way, even if it's the same, it's great to know that there are 2 options, right? Like 2 different times.
Yeah, there's 3. Usually, I think there's 3 times at night.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
it's an early, and then like at 6 o'clock, then like an 8 or 9.
I didn't realize that. I think we've only ever done the 6.
Yeah, so it's a great show, and you got to.
I'm so glad that you said that because it's awesome. And I don't know if it's underrated or not, but I don't know if people are like, I don't know if it's worth it. It's expensive. It is worth it.
It is
completely
expensive,
worth it.
but it's totally worth it. Yeah.
But if you're going to do one splurge thing, if you don't need to do, a character meal, do this one.
I agree.
It's absolutely great.
It's worth it. And the unlimited sangria or draft beer during the whole dinner.
How did you not talk about that?
I kind of forgot about it, but it's unlimited.
It's unlimited, you guys.
So you just bring a pitcher.
Unlimited.
When a pitcher's gone, they bring another pitcher.
They just
when that's gone, they bring another pitcher. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, what I'm saying is take the bus.
Yeah, don't drive.
Take the bus and the boat. You don't want to.
But
You don't want
enjoy
to
it.
drive there anyway because it's a pain
Yes.
to get to that part of the.
When you said it's
resort.
hard to get to, when you drive,
When you drive, it is. When you drive,
It
it's
is.
tough to get there because you have to park in one spot and then take the transportation,
Yep.
the bus
that's right.
to the settlement area where Pioneer Hall is and the general store and the other places, the other restaurants, Crockett's Tavern.
It's a really cool area. I
It
love
really
that
is.
area.
What's the other restaurant that we've gone to? The buffet?
Trails End.
Trails End. Great
Oh,
buffet.
which, by the way, has some of the food from Hoop
Yeah, they share a kitchen, so the food is very similar.
If you can't get reservations to Hoop
Or if you don't want to spend the extra price for a show.
right, but you want to have this fried chicken we're talking about, go to Trails End.
And the ribs, they have them both there.
And the ribs. And it's
They share
really,
a kitchen, so it's the same types of food.
And it's one that doesn't usually, it's usually pretty easy to get into.
Yeah.
Because not that many people know about it.
All right, so we're not talking about dining. Back to the shows.
Sorry,
You're
back
up.
to the shows. Okay, so this is my last one. And I'm glad I saved this for last. Because this, I think, is
Save the best for last.
totally one that people are like,
Sorry.
snooze, snore, I'm totally skipping it, whatever. And don't do that because
I didn't know
awesome.
Valley Girl came into the
I did totally
studio.
went into my Valley Girl voice. But it is Turtle Talk with Crush. You guys, it's awesome. I
Actually,
know
I'm
I've
really
talked
glad
about
you
it.
brought this one up and saved it for last because we've talked about it a little bit, but not a lot on the show.
Oh, good. I felt like I talked about it a lot. I think I just talked to you about it a lot
We talk about it a lot.
because it's fantastic. Talk about a different show every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great show.
The reason it's a different show is it's completely based on the kids. So let me just explain it because I know there are probably a lot of people who haven't experienced it. So first of all, it's one you can get a fast pass. You really don't need one. You can get one though.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really need
You
one.
really don't need one.
I've found that even when it says like a 25-minute wait,
It's like a 10-minute
you,
wait.
You just walk into that little
You just
staging
wait
area and
for
just
the
wait.
next
Yeah, you don't.
show.
There's really it's not a line or anything.
There's no line.
Unless it's like Christmas Day.
And what's really
not a lot.
cool is while you're waiting for it, you can just go and look at all the fish and all. Like,
Right.
It's really cool.
They have those cool like rays and jellyfish. The jellyfish freak me out.
I know. They're really cool.
They're just like billowing in the water, and you're looking at them like, whoa, like how's
They're
that?
amazing creatures.
Is it true that they don't have brains, right?
Oh, yeah, I have heard that.
Like that's weird. How do they? They're just like killing machines.
It's a little dangerous.
Just sting you and
Makes them
kill
a bit
you.
dangerous.
Anyway, sorry.
They have like
Yeah,
no
they don't even
remorse.
think about it. Hey, you're right. No remorse at all.
Right?
They just sting you, kill you.
really
Man of
true.
war. I mean, come on. Anyway, sorry.
So anyway, so you, regardless of the jellyfish, so you go into the show.
Jelly man.
You can
Sorry.
go. So if you're an adult, you just go right and sit down. If you're an adult and you have kids with you, you go and sit down, and then your kids go down to like right in front of the stage, and they sit in a different area.
They sit on the floor.
On the floor, but you can still see them. And
I will tell you, right, like as a parent, you'll get freaked out for a second. Don't get freaked out. There's nowhere
don't
for them
worry,
to go.
there's no way for them to get out.
Like the cast member were like, okay, kids, come with me. And I remember when we
The
first
first
did it, we
time.
were like, whoa.
Yeah.
Don't take my kid.
We were totally freaked
What are you
out.
doing? But they can't go
There's
anywhere.
no exit.
There's no exit. You just go into the room and they're right there. Anyway.
And you can totally see them.
Yeah, you can see them in a second. But
so yeah, so-
there's like 10 seconds that you don't see your kid and you're like, what? Like, it's,
Yep.
if you don't know that's coming, you get a little freaked out.
You
but
do, but don't get
they're
freaked
there.
out. It's gonna be fine. But so then Crush comes, and first of all, he is just hilarious. Anyway, he's amazing. He's just like so funny, and he's so much movement, and it's so cool because now they incorporate all different kinds of characters.
Yeah.
From both Finding Nemo and Finding Dory.
Yes.
But for us, obviously, the most fun and cool part is he talks to the kids, and so many kids and some adults get a chance to participate.
Yeah, there's always like a set of parents that will
Yeah.
get to talk to Crush.
Yep, he always talks to the parents.
And he embarrasses the heck out of them every time.
But it's really cool because it's like...
But it's fun embarrassing.
Oh, it's super
Yeah.
fun embarrassing. But like instead, it's just so like fun and unique. Like instead of being like, oh, the kid in the blue shirt, he's like, oh, the dude with the blue shell. Like, he just like...
Yeah,
it's
the
really
swim
cool.
goggles.
Yeah. So if someone has glasses, he says swim goggles instead of glasses, which is super fun. So it's so fun as a parent because as much as you can see your kids, you can't really see them in that moment. So you don't know. You have to judge from the description if that's your kid or not.
Right. You think that's because we're short? Or do you think
I
that's
think it's because we're short.
we can't see over the adults in
I
front
think
of
it's
us?
because we're short, and also we don't have like the best vision
I'm all right.
necessarily. Cataracts. But
I had surgery to fix them.
But it's really fun because it's like a guessing game. Like, wait, is that my kid? Oh, that's my kid.
It is. Yeah, it's a really fun show.
So he involves so many kids, and it's just hilarious. It's like we said, it's different jokes every single time because he's so good at ad-libbing. Whatever the kid says, he just goes with it and forms the show around it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And it's different. There's like effects. It's different effects all the time. It's really, really cool. I really, really want you guys not to skip it. You're going to really love it.
I agree. What I love about the show is, like you just said, how different. It's never even close to the same show.
It could never be the same.
Because it totally depends on, like, he asks the kids, first he asks them questions, and they have to answer them.
Right.
And then they get to ask him questions.
Yes, that's the best.
And our kids they're always so geared up to ask a question, and they've all been picked at one time or another. And then when the microphone gets right in front of them, they freeze.
They just panic. They completely panic.
Totally freeze. Deer in the headlights.
They never ask the question.
They never ask the question. They
ask a question.
Like, I think Alexa has asked, "What do you eat?" like 8 times. Like,
but it's always a funny, different answer.
Yeah, he always answers it differently, and like it's fun. And he's like, seaweed, dude. And he like looks over his shoulder, and there's all seaweed all around, and it's really funny.
It's really funny.
But yeah, our kids panic every time the mic gets in front of them.
It's true. But they love it. We've done it so many times, and I feel like we'll always do it.
It's a good show. It really is. And then after that, you get to walk around the aquarium and
right.
walk around the seas and see.
And of course, you can see
the manatees and the sharks and the dolphins and the turtles and the more jellyfish and the what is the blue?
That's a show in and of itself, right?
What is yeah, it is. What's the clownfish is are Nemo and Marlin. What's Dory? She's a blue something.
Oh, I don't remember. Blue something is right, but I don't remember.
I forget, but she's in. They have Dories in there too in the aquarium.
Yeah, they do.
The manatees are just awesome to just stand and watch the manatees for a minute. And then make sure you go down those little hallways. There's like these little hallways that kind of lead throughout the different parts of the aquarium.
Yeah. Don't miss those.
And you see all kinds of different fish when you walk down. Just take a walk. It's really cool.
You're right.
All right, so you're going to be mad in a second because I'm going to go through a whole bunch that neither of us thought of.
I don't feel like I want to be
because they're listed as attractions and not shows.
Oh, I know. I have a feeling about this.
So, but I'm going to go with my last one first.
Okay.
And I was going back and forth on this one. So I'm going to go with the best show, I think, right now. It can't be the best. It's too hard to pick. But the other one I wanted to mention, Fantasmic. Still a great show.
A great pick. Yeah, absolutely.
Hollywood Studios in the huge theater where David Copperfield. Why did I say David Crockett?
I know
David Copperfield's underground restaurant was once going to go. It was once going to be underneath the theater.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it still hasn't opened. I'm waiting every year. Every time I go, I'm like, did Davy again? Did David Copperfield's restaurant open yet? No. All right, I'll check him out. Did Davy Crockett's new restaurant open? His recipe?
We really lost it.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Woo, really?
Fantasmic. Listen, I've heard people for years give me, "Oh, it's better at Disneyland" line. That's fine. If you think it's better at Disneyland, why are you laughing?
Sorry. I just got to a giggle fit. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
I'll get over it in a minute.
I guess this is why you're funny on the show, but man, pull yourself together, lady. So listen, Fantasmic in Disneyland has grown a bit. Is in Disneyland it is a bit better. I get it. One thing that Disneyland doesn't have though is its own theater for the darn show.
That's a good point.
You have to stand up in the park in New Orleans Square,
right,
in Frontierland and watch the show. In Hollywood Studios, there's a huge theater.
It's just for that.
Yeah, that you go and sit down and enjoy the show. I think the show's been there since, what is it? Since 1998, 97, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
This show is still great. It's a great show, great effects. The projections on the water are still just awesome.
Yeah, it is
to
incredible.
See. Is it a bit of a pain to get to see? It still is. It is. It blows me away that they've never figured out really like the crowd control is better with the two different shows.
It is.
The projection show and the and Fantasmic going like back like taking turns, so it's not a huge bottleneck of people trying to get out of the park at once.
Right.
But they never really figured out the theater's massive, and it seats so many people that it's kind of hard to fill it and hard to empty it. So you kind of have to get in line early for it, which,
You're absolutely right.
or you get a fast pass, or
Right.
you get a Fantasmic dining package.
Right.
They're your other two options, which are both really good options.
They are. It kind of does make sense.
Because we've been
It really helps.
with little kids, especially when we've been at
I
Hollywood
think we've only
Studios.
done it once with little kids
Yeah.
because of that.
And we've been there. What I was going to say is, it's almost worth using a fast pass for it, so you don't have to wait in line as much. Because if you
I
have little,
totally agree with
now
that.
that's going to change, I think, when Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opens,
Yeah, that'll change.
because that's going to be tough to navigate fast passes. I almost feel like they need to give you a fourth fast pass for the day
Yes.
for that park. But right now, you do use your fast pass on one of the Toy Story Land attractions, another attraction like Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, and then use it for Fantasmic
Why
and
not?
get in.
Because you don't need like we said, you don't need fast passes for any of the shows.
You can do single if you're a Daredevil, you can do single rider for Rock and Roller Coaster. Tower, use your fast pass for,
Right.
or
I
you're gonna
agree.
wait a while because it's always a long wait.
Right.
Like early in the morning, late at night, you'll get the 30-minute waits. A lot of times you get an hour to 90 minutes. It's just the nature of it. It's a great attraction, and I still love it, and I'll still ride it every time I'm there.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't like it though. No. But
That's 'cause I'm a
but
witch.
Fantasmic
I
anyway.
can appreciate that it's great. I just am too scared to do it.
It's true. So Fantasmic is going to end out the official part of the list, but there's other ones that we didn't mention.
I know. I have a really bad feeling that one of the ones I want to pick is on here. Go ahead. Go.
So I'm looking at, Happily Ever After and Magic Kingdom,
Right.
Of
I've
course,
never seen
replaced
that.
Wishes. You saw it from the roof, haven't you?
Maybe, but I mean, I've never been in the park.
You saw it. I know we saw it from the roof with
Right.
the
I
kids.
just don't count that.
Okay, so we saw it from the roof of the Contemporary.
Oh, then that was really good.
You know the song though, the Happily
Yeah, I
Ever
love
After.
that song.
The music's great. Is it Wishes? I guess time will
I
tell.
feel like you just sung a lot.
I'm a songstress of my generation. I don't know. I got a singing mood. I can't breathe out of my nose from this darn cold, and I'm in a singing mood. So I know I'm not good, but
I think you're great.
I just try to make people laugh, and I'm hoping that works.
Do it.
So my terrible singing and my bad impressions, if that makes people enjoy themselves, then there we go.
So be it.
So anyway, Happily Ever After is a great show. It's mostly a projection show more than a fireworks show. So
Right.
you really kind of need to be in front of Cinderella Castle to see
So
it.
I get what you're saying, that it's totally different. You can't really compare it to
The
Wishes.
Yeah, no, not the Wishes. Wishes was just a complete fireworks show.
Right.
Like Wishes, everything was all about the
I
fireworks.
love Wishes.
This is much more of a projection / fireworks show.
But I mean, they got to change it up, right?
Exactly, and it's very good. And I'm sure they're saving a lot of money on fireworks each year.
Right.
They are the biggest buyer of fireworks on the planet.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Walt Disney World by far. So anyway, so Happily Ever After I didn't mention on the official list. You should see that at least on your next trip.
Yeah,
go
no,
once.
it's really good.
Think about the 3D shows we didn't mention. Mickey's PhilharMagic.
I know. Oh my gosh, Mickey's PhilharMagic. How did I forget it?
Because these are they're listed as attractions, so we didn't
That's
look them
so
as shows.
silly.
You can right now smell. We have a Mickey's PhilharMagic candle,
Oh my gosh.
but in
You
the-
guys would
the
not
freezer right
believe
now.
it smells. First of all, it smells great anyway, but it
It's
smells exactly
the
like
champagne one,
it. It smells exactly like the champagne.
which you didn't even know existed
Yes,
until.
that's right. Until
really
one of
funny.
these podcasts.
Yeah, and you were like, "Wait, really?" And then we went on, and you were like, "Oh my god, I did smell it."
I did. I did.
So it's the part at Be Our Guest when it's like, psst, psst, and all the champagne corks are popping. You can feel like the wind in your face.
Yes.
With the wind
cool.
comes the smell of the champagne.
And it
It's really
smells
cool.
great. I mean,
So-
this room smells like it, and it's fantastic.
It does. So we didn't count. We didn't say Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Which is a
We didn't say
great
Muppet
show.
Vision 3D.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't say it's tough to be a bug.
What is wrong with us?
I know this is tough. We didn't and then there's just a few. We can't name every show,
'Cause I
but
was wondering if,
I'm looking at the list. There's a million more shows
I
that
was
we didn't
wondering
name.
if Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor was.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. We didn't name
I
that.
should have put that. That's my.
That's an
probably my
attraction.
favorite show.
I always technically think it's a show. Disney listed as an attraction because it's continually operating.
I get it, but
Boom,
it's-
boom, boom, boom,
but
boom.
it is
Same
a
as the
show.
3D shows.
And it's hilarious. You guys don't skip that either. Please don't skip that.
Much like it's a lot like Turtle Talk with Crush. Don't miss that.
Yes. You're right.
Well, another
It's
one
really similar.
I didn't mention any of the Main Street Philharmonic stuff. So any of the live band stuff, all the
That's
shows.
fun, yeah.
What about the
That's
Main
fun.
Street trolley show?
Oh, right.
Walking right down the middle of Main Street, USA.
Right, that one's great.
Great show. Always has great memories for us.
Absolutely.
The March of the First Order with the
Oh, that's
stormtroopers
super fun.
and Captain Phasma and whatchamacallit.
right,
And then
right.
the Star Wars show in front of the
Jedi
Chinese Oh, I didn't even mention that.
I know. I was gonna.
The
put
Star Wars
that.
show in front of the Chinese theater was the one I was thinking of.
Oh, I love that one too.
When it has all the characters
Jedi
come out.
Training Academy. Come on,
Jedi
that
Training
was
Academy.
amazing.
Best.
So much fun.
That's maybe the best show that your kid can participate in daily
They
in
can
the
just
parks.
be in it. They can face Darth Vader, right?
Darth Vader,
Unbelievable.
Kylo Ren.
Are you kidding me?
What's the guy with the double lightsaber's name? Darth
Oh,
Maul.
Darth Maul.
Then there's some other ones from like Star Wars Rebels and stuff that I don't know once in a while.
But you can.
And you'll see them, and I'm like, who's that Star Wars person? But they're from like the extended Star Wars universe. So we didn't mention that. All the meet and greets we didn't mention because they're not really. What about Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair, the stage show at the castle?
Oh, I love that one.
Move and Shake It, Mouse and Dancing Street Party. Not really a show, more of a parade, I guess.
Yeah, I would think it was a parade.
The Muppets present Great Moments in American History.
That's fun too.
Didn't mention
That's
that.
very funny.
So there's a ton of stuff. Like there's so much entertainment. Like I guess this is all more entertainment. Some of the stuff that I'm mentioning.
I do feel like the shows get pushed aside by so many people.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
I get it because there's so much to do, and so many people are in Disney for a limited amount of time.
Right, so you're running from
You can't miss
e-ticket to e-ticket.
exactly, and I get that, and that's
But
totally fine.
all the stuff that we mentioned today, you're not going to wait for.
You're not going to wait for it. And again, and I know
Except with the
I just
exception
said
of
this,
Fantasmic.
and I know I just said this, but it's totally worth mentioning because, as much as you said, people don't realize that it doesn't, that it gets cold in Florida. People, I don't think, realize that it rains almost every single day at some point.
Yeah.
Almost the entire year. I mean, the whole entire summer. It rains every single day in Orlando. Every single day.
Yeah, it does.
It's usually 3 to 4 o'clock, or even sometimes 3 to 3:10. But it does rain. And people are like, "What am I supposed to do in the rain?" You go see the shows.
Yep, you can spend all day.
You could absolutely have
If you
a
have
day.
park hoppers, you can do a half a day in one park,
Right.
half a day in the other,
Because
only
then
doing shows.
you can use all your fast passes in whatever park you go to in the morning, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, whatever, and Kingdom. And then you don't need any fast passes if you want to just do the shows in the studios.
Yeah, and then we didn't mention Finding Nemo the
If
musical. We didn't mention.
And guess what? Things happen, right? Things happen on your vacation, as we know. You get a little sick. Your feet start really hurting because you're walking so much. Whatever it is, if you want to have a little bit of a more laid back experience, or if it's raining, or if it's really really hot or really really cold, just go to shows.
Agreed.
Right?
Listen, we mentioned a lot of shows. We didn't. There's a lot more.
There's so many more. We
That
can
we
do a
didn't
part
mention.
2.
Yeah, let's do an entertainment show because I think we can do that too.
I'm into that. Oh yes, I like that.
Because there's a lot of little stuff on
We'll
here
do that
that
next.
we didn't mention. That like just little things that kind of pop up around the parks,
Right.
that are definitely worth talking about. So let's do that.
Totally up for that.
We'll do that show soon. All right, Ames, this is a lot of fun. Even though I don't agree with your whole list, there's only one that I didn't agree with. So that's
I
not bad.
agreed with your whole list.
Yeah, of
actually.
course. So my list was awesome. No, seriously, thank you. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There Disney podcast. Thank you to Bob. Thank you to Amy. And thank you so much for hanging out with me, for listening. I hope I made that run outside or the run on a treadmill or your commute to work a little bit easier today. Or that walking the dog. That's where I listen to a lot of my podcasts now. I've mentioned it a bunch that I have a puppy. He needs longer walks each month. So I'm listening to longer and longer podcast episodes every month. I don't listen to this podcast. I'll review it when I edit it, but I don't listen to it. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And I do have a favor to ask of you. If you haven't told someone about this show, if you were enjoying it, if you haven't told someone about it, please just tell one person this week about the podcast. I don't know if you go on Facebook a lot, or Instagram, or Twitter, or Snapchat, Musical.ly, Bebo, MySpace, whatever you use, please go on there and share an episode. Share this episode. Ask a question about, hey, have you listened to the Ear to There Disney podcast? I'd really, really, really appreciate it. All right, just remember there will be a new episode of the Ear to There Disney podcast each and every week, hopefully on Monday, as well as an episode of the Walt Disney World Word of the Week on Thursday. So until next time, thank you again so much for listening. You are awesome, and I really appreciate you. Have yourself an amazing week. Bye-bye.
ear to there, ear to there.